Thank you, Felix. I will show you the program for today. So I will shortly speak about the abbreviation we use for the PAP IDs. And then you will see a presentation of Corridor Atlantic, plus some information about the TCR and infrastructure improvements. No, not Atlantic. First, it will be Corridor Mediterranean, and then Corridor Atlantic will make a presentation. You will have some information about ADIF and the specific cross-border specificities. I will make a presentation about Corridor North Sea-Mediterranean. And then we will show you PCS Dossier that is running through the 3 corridors, and we will tell you about some specificities about this dossier. At the end, we will have the chance to dialogue, to speak together, and to answer your question. But you may also ask your questions during the speech. You may interrupt us. This is not a problem at all. Okay, this is the program. Now I will find my document about the abbreviations. So PAP ID is made of 12 digits, I think, and always starting with a C for capacity. Then you have some numbers, C2 for RFC2. In case of multi-corridor, it might be a C426, for instance. It's a multi-corridor between RFC Atlantic, RFC North Sea-Mediterranean, and RFC Mediterranean. This could be the case, for instance, for capacity from Mannheim via Forbach, Metz, Lyon to Spain. And in order to make this PAP ID more understandable, we have found a system of abbreviation with 2 digits for the origin and 2 digits for the destination. So if you would have capacity from APAC Moselle to Madrid, it will be APAB. Another example, maybe between Dunkerque and Chiasso, it will be DKCH. System is not yet perfect. It will be improved in 2024. You see that some abbreviations are coming 2 times. In this case, it's not very tragic because we have nothing between these 2 cities. And we will try to find out for 2024 between the 3 corridors other letters that do not come 2 times. If you need this list, just let us know. Otherwise, you will find it also in my catalog. Okay, so that was it for the abbreviation. And now I think, is there some questions? Please let us know. Otherwise, Stefan, you may start with your presentation. Should I load it, or you have it somewhere?
I have it. I upload on the screen. Do you see it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Jean, for this introduction. I want to present the offer for the timetable 2023, and some information about the TCR and the main improvement in the Mediterranean corridor. So for the first view, a quick reminder about the Mediterranean corridor. Almost 8,000 kilometers between between Hungary to Spain, across 6 countries: Hungary, Croatia, Slovenia, Italy, France, and Spain. The Med RFC is connected with 9 RFC. The offer for timetable 2023 for the eastern part between Hungary, Croatia, Slovenia, and Italy, we propose 22 PAPs for the east in the both side. In general, the PAPs are for all the week, from Monday to Sunday. For most of them, not for all, but for most of them, the offer is for all the days of the week. For the center part, we have 32 PAPs between Italy to France in the both sides also, with 1 in green between Paris to Novara, and the other part between Lyon area to Torino and Milan. Is between the north and the south, between Germany, Benelux, Spain border, and Spain. Many of them are common with North Sea-Med and Atlantic corridor. Also in the east, we have a common offer with Amber corridor, and also with Orient East Med. The goal is really to make an offer with the origin and the destination for your traffic. The construction, according your wish list, we try to follow your wish list, and in general we make a good result, but not for all, because we must to share the capacity with the other flow and passenger flow, and it's not easy to find always the best solution. And for sure there is also many interruption due to the TCR. In this view, we have the number of PAPs by country and section. This view is for the eastern. The offer on the east is more or less at the same level as the previous year. We have many TCR in Croatia and in Slovenia, and this situation limit the capacity. For sure, the works, the TCR now and for timetable 2023 are in general for upload and upgrade the tracks, and also to improve the tracks and the line to have more capacity, but it's not really for now. For the other part, the PAPs between Italy to France and on the west, we have also the number of PAP by country and section. We have an increase in Spain and in France, and a small decrease in Italy. The presentation of the offer. The presentation is the offer is on a file Excel. Two for the west, one for between Italy to France, and another sheet for the east. On the file Excel, you can find the IM, the national ID in this column, and the running day and the timetable in the main point of the IM of the country. And the most important, especially for PCS, the PAP ID. You have the naming of the PAP ID. And as Jean presented in the introduction, an example of the naming for PAP, we use the C for capacity or corridor. In this example is a PAP who starts from Mediterranean, so the 6, continue on the North Sea-Med on 2, and finish on Atlantic corridor on 4. The ACE for CR in Spain, and the ACE A for Saarbrücken. So this is the origin and the destination of the PAP. And the 07, another number, or the start time at the origin of the PAP. All the PAP are flex. You can request the complete route or part of it, and for sure our outflow or feeder if you need. In any case, please indicate the origin and the destination, and we are available to help you and support you in PCS. All the PAPs are in PCS for sure, and we have the same naming when we have a common offer. We have same naming to facilitate the construction in PCS. So if you have some question, if you want if you want more information, please tell me. So this is for the presentation of the offer. And
we have a question, Stéphane, I'm sorry, we have a question from Laurent, our colleague from SNCF Fret.
Yes. Could you remind me the deadline to order PAP, please?
The naming of the PAP?
No, the deadline, please, to order PAP.
Oh, the deadline is the same deadline as for any order of the timetable 2023, the second Monday of April.
Yes.
Yeah, so the 12th of, I think it's the 12th of April.
I think the last day is the 11th, but at night.
All right.
So
thank you.
Yeah. It's the yes, but for sure. Please, if you can proceed early, it will be better for sure. If you wait the deadline, yes, it will be more difficult. But for sure, you have not always the good view. But please, if you can proceed before, it will be better for the construction.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, I would like to present quickly some information about the TCR, and you can find many information about the TCR along the Mediterranean corridor in our website, and you can find the link here in RFC. In the website, you can find for each country file Excel who present the TCR in each country, and you can find also some maps where you can find the main TCR and the main interruption. There is no all of the TCR because it's not possible to give all the information on the map. But the goal is to give to you an alert and what will be the main interruption planned in one country. In this map, this is the map for Slovenia for timetable 2022. We can find an example, the TCR between Ljubljana and Brezovica, and we have an upgrading line. And in general, there is always one of the track who are closed, and just one track to run all the train in the both sides. So this is the reason. Then we have a limitation of capacity in Slovenia for timetable 22 and 23, and fortunately it will be the same in timetable 2020-24. We have also total closure between Koper and Divača, in general 2 Mondays per month, and there is also some weekend where the line will be closed. So the goal is to give the alert, and after to see with the IM what are the possibility for rerouting or to modify the PAP and the slot. Another example on Modan for timetable 2023, and in this view you have the closure who will be most of 12 hours. And for timetable 2023, there is a big interruption on 1 week on May, between the 5th of May to the 12th. So this is for the TCR, and now I want to present to you what will be the main improvement in Mediterranean corridor. There is a lot of works TCR in Spain with the goal to have UEC or dual tracks. And in 2023, it will be possible to go to Tarragona. In 2026, it will be Valencia, and in 2030, it will be Algeciras. So in 10 years, we can go in USA or dual tracks until Algeciras. There is many TCR in Croatia for doubling the tracks, and the TCR are planned until 2024. Upgrading near Ljubljana and also for the line Koper-Divača until 2026. The construction of the Lyon-Torino with an implementation in 2031 for the Tunnel of Bays, and the connection to the Tunnel of Bays, and so far a new line in project between Montpellier and Perpignan in two steps. All the TCR are to maintain the tracks and the line, and also to increase to improve the network, and all of this improvement will increase the competitiveness of the rail. So that's all for my presentation. If you have some question, please.
Stéphane?
Yes?
Are you going to send us this presentation after the meeting?
Yes. We will send to all of you the presentation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I give the floor to Laura or Felix.
Yeah, and this is Felix. Laura needed to disconnect from the meeting because we had another one, and she's attending the other meeting, as I have to explain today Atlantic Corridor topics. Okay, first of all, as we were discussing before, the issue of the calendar, let me show you, for those who may not know it, excuse me, here in RNE website, Home, Sales and Capacity Management, you can find the timetable calendar section, and then you have two links, one of those with RFC calendar, and here you have all the deadlines for timetable 2022. Well, sorry, this year for timetable 2023, in which we can see, for example, the 11th of April as the deadline for requesting PAPs, and in general any other annual path request. Okay. Then we can start with the Atlantic Corridor training session. We will present the capacity offer for timetable 2023. Here we have the global presentation of the corridor from Germany to Portugal, with 4 countries, 4 networks, and 4 IMs, linking with 6,200 kilometers, all those important cities for freight in this corridor.
Felix, yeah. We don't see your presentation.
Oh, excuse me. As I had it in another screen, I didn't realize that. Thank you. You should receive it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm trying to also recover the Teams in the other one too. Here it is. Okay. This was simply the presentation. And here, as I was saying, 4 countries, 4 networks, 4 IMs, 6,200 kilometers. We saw all these cities from Portugal to Germany. Okay. In fact, maybe this is out of date from some time. Of course, this is entering into Germany to Mannheim. Here we can see the PAP offer evolution since 2015. For those of you which are requesting capacity in the Atlantic Corridor for a couple of years, you may see here that there was a big increase, but it was not real increase. It was due to an old version of PCS which didn't allow some functionalities, and we have to use one kind of dossier which we used to call combined PAP tailor-made dossier, and this forced to some IMs, in order to be able to offer what we wanted to offer, to present 365 days per year, even if the capacity was not really available for all the calendar days. So what I want to show here is that in general there is a small increase of the offer since the beginning, with some ups and downs of the offer, and particularly taking out this not real data. Okay. Also, we have here the capacity requests, which in general could be more or less half of the offer is being requested in general. The ratio is being increased a little since the beginning, okay? And then, as maybe you know, in general, the reserve capacity is not very demanded, and also the offer is not very high, maybe also related because it is not real demand for the moment. Here we have the relationships, the main relationships, and the amount of PAPs in each section of the corridor for 2023. as Stefan and Jan already introduced, there are an important amount of capacity which runs over the 3 of the corridors present today, or at least 2 of them, in order to link the main flows, in our case, from Iberian Peninsula to Belgium, Iberian Peninsula to Germany. Those are the main flows for multi-corridor PAPs. Also here we can see the number of PAPs in each network and a summary of the days available per week in each country. And here the main cities linked by the corridor. Here is the PAP offer. You can also find it in the Atlantic Corridor website. And let's keep some time for this. Apart from the PAP reference, the PAP ID, which has already been explained by Stefan and Jan, maybe I can add that we have kept the old philosophy of odd numbers for one direction and the pair numbers for the other one, which is still useful. And also, as we said, also traditional, the corridors involved in the PAP. And in this case, the new thing is the acronym, the abbreviations of the main cities linked by the PAP. Okay, maybe what we can just dedicate a minute is to clarify the issue of the running days. As you can see here in the PAP catalog, which is a global screenshot of the offer. The detailed offer needs to be consulted directly in PCS. You can find the running days at the beginning of the network in which the PAP is constructed. Why it's important to understand it? Not in PCS. In PCS it won't be any difficulty, but here you need to understand that, for example, especially for multi-corridor PAPs, if there is a PAP running in several corridors, for example, in France, in this case, you can see here some nodes belonging to other corridor. So this is departing from Cerber at 7:40, but it's entering in the Atlantic corridor the next day, okay, at 2:21 in Med. In reality, it's departing at 2:21 in Med. What happens that what you will find in PCS for the Atlantic corridor PAP section, of course, will be the running days in Atlantic corridor, which makes reference to Med. But here in the screenshot, in order to make it more useful, you will see that running days in SSF Resort Network at the origin of the real path, of the multi-corridor path, these running days makes reference to Cerber. Okay, so this might help for having a better global screenshot. But anyway, at the end, as you will see now in the presentation, the real running days in each corridor is correctly presented in PCS. The direction. Okay, let us also spend some minutes in explaining one particularity with what was introduced last year by an agreement between ADIF, IP, and SSF Resort, proposed by ADIF initially, and now this is a second step on that topic, which is a new way introduced last year, as I said, in order to request capacity in the cross-border section. Okay, this is important for the IMs because ADIF started to ask the RUs to request capacity in the cross-border section according in a detailed way. Okay, according for the sections in which each RU is using its IM network. So, going to using PCS terms, the interchange point, which is where the RU changes, has to be a border station. Okay, you cannot change the RU in the middle of the state border. Okay, in the state border, because you have to change drivers, normally, not always, drivers, locomotives, etc. So, for example, in this case, I use a typical example, border station in Spain, which could be Irún, for example, as the interchange point. But now the handover, which is the point in which the IM gives the responsibility of the capacity to the other IM, would be the state border. As I said, this is nothing new. The RUs which already requested capacity for 2022 already did that and did it in a very correct way, which we really appreciate, and we want to thank you for that. But now what we are having is PAP's offer there in order to make it easier for the RUs to request in this way. Okay, So as I was saying, sorry to come back, the handover point will be the state border. So there would be two territories, okay? In this case would be the French RU, which is taking the train in Irún, which is in Spain, needs to request capacity to Arif, because there is a small cross-border between the border station in Spain to the border, which needs to be accepted, allocated, formally allocated by Arif. And then the RU will request to the French IM, to SSFSO, from the state border to the border station and beyond, wherever is the final destination. These are the what also I explained. Let me add that also, as this is an initiative initiated by Arif, this applies also to RFC 6 in the border between France and Spain, so in Cerver and Portbou border mainly. Also to LFP, but LFP Lilia Figueras Perpignan has a different way, and this works like this since the very beginning, okay? Because we have an IM in the middle between Adif and SSFSO, so we have not only border stations, we have also handovers in the middle, not in the state border, in the separation between LFP and Arif and LFP and SSFSO. But in LFP, let me repeat, there is nothing new because this works like this since the very beginning. Okay, we prepare 3 use cases, which in fact are only one for Portugal and one for France. And then we prepare a third one, which in fact shouldn't happen, okay, but just in case. So here is what you will find, as you were shown already in the PCS training by René. This is the search, and here you can see the global vision, the best way. Excuse me. Excuse me. So as I said, there is a path covering all the territories from the origin. For example, we use this path, Grisel in Spain, going to the Spanish border station, then from the Spanish border station to the state border, and then the state border is the handover, so it is repeated in 2 path sections. But of course, as this is a run-through, in reality, it is the same time the departure from the border with the arrival to the border. As I said, it's a run-through. And then this path continues to Forbach and then to Saarbrücken, okay? When we did some text, we found out that it's important. It is not mandatory, but it's important. It will be easier for the RUs to create the dossier if the leading RU include the RUs which are foreseen to be their partners in the different territories in the second step of creating the PAP dossier, okay? The screenshot of that moment is this one, okay? In creating new dossier, after reordering the paths in the applicant path step, second step, as I said, you can introduce here the right applicant, okay? So this will make it much easier to create the correct territories. Don't forget that these are the territories, okay? RU A with 1 IM, RU B with 1 IM, and RU B with the other IM. It's the moment to do it. If you go to the creation of the dossier and you try to change territories later on, you can do it, but it will be a bit more tricky. So if you can, maybe you don't know which will do the traffic, but in general, I think you will be able to do this at this moment. Okay, and this is how it would look like a cross-border section. This is the same screenshot than initially, but this is how it should look like, okay? From Grisel to Irún, we will have one PCS territory. Let me remind that PCS territory is the concept IM-RU pair. So here it will be 1 RU requesting to Arif from the origin to the border station. Then the second territory, if it's the case, the French RU will take the train in Irún, but it needs to request the capacity to Arif because it's running in Adif territory, so from Irún to the border. And then the same RU, because this is not changing in the border, as I said, will request the capacity from the border to the destination. In this case, we have, it's normal but not mandatory, that we have a stop in the French border station In this case, it's not necessary to create a PAP section between Hendaye Frontier and Hendaye Bad Voyagers, and then it's the same PAP section because it's created only by SNCF Result. This happened nevertheless. The interchange between RUs, it's Irun or it's Hendaye. Okay, we have prepared the PAPs for both cases, also in Mediterranean corridor between Portbou and Cervera. This is a mixed presentation between corridor OSS and ADIF IM. Okay. Okay, I introduced this one in the presentation, but I am not going to dedicate time because it's exactly the same, but with a Portugal case. Okay, these cases are in test 1 of PCS environment, so you can check them at any moment. In this case, the border point is Vilar Formoso, and in this case, the Portuguese RU changes to the Spanish RU in Vilar Formoso, which is the Portuguese border station, and Renfe, for example, is crossing the border between Vilar Formoso and the border, and then between the border and the destination. And this case 2, as I said, case 1 A and B, and then case 2 shouldn't happen. Simply, I wanted to create this slide in order to show that maybe I'm not expecting it, but maybe for any mistake from my side or from ADIF side, or if maybe you are requesting something which is not expected, it may happen. And I think yesterday in the advanced session training, Ivona or Anna presented something similar. If you find out that the PAP you are requesting finishes in a border and then the next section is starting in the border station, so a small part will be missing, you should create it manually. But I said, this was what you did last year. This year shouldn't be necessary because the PAP sections has been created in this way in order to cover all the cross-border sections. Okay, this is before thanking for your attention. This is final reminders, as I always do every year. Please, I know it's not always possible, but always is possible. Include the whole route in the request, in the dossier, from the first origin to the final destination. Try to not leave gaps. This was referenced particularly for the cross-border. And try, I think it's not very difficult, try to create the correct territories, IMRU pair, in the border crossing during the dossier creation. So thanks for your attention. I am available for any consult, any question now or afterwards during the meeting. And of course, the three of us, I'm talking now on my behalf, but I know the three of us are available for any question you may need during the creation of the dossiers or at any moment, together, of course, with RNE, which is the service provider of PCS, and the real experts are them in the support team. Thank you. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Felix. So if there's no question right now, you can ask your question later on, and I will continue with my presentation. Now I will share the screen. Here is an overview of Corridor North Sea-Mediterranean. Many of our PAPs are starting or ending at Antwerp seaport, but of course we have got many destinations in France, connection in Switzerland, connection in the Netherlands, and many capacities around Bettembourg. But what we have done, actually, we have based ourselves on the capacity needs announcements on SNCF Réseau. This is the backbone of our catalog, but we have also included the generic catalog of Infrabel and ProRail between Antwerp and Rotterdam. And we have also included the generic catalog of Infrabel and ACF between the north of Belgium via the Atumeuse up to Bettembourg. How do you find all this? Let's say you would be interested by the capacity between Antwerp and Bettembourg. You just click on the map and you will find all these capacities PAP ID we have spoken about, calendar at departure. You can see some of the capacities are leaving from Antwerp, from Zeebrugge, from Muiden, from Rhône or Namur. All of them run through the Belgian Ardennes, through the Atumeuse, until the Luxembourg border and until Bettembourg. South-north you will always find on the right side. If you are more interested by capacities between Belgium and France, you can click here and you will find all the capacities coming from Antwerp, from different cities in Belgium, through border points Erquelin-Gemont, Kévy, Kévy-Feigny, Blandin, Bézieux, Maucron, Tourcoing, and continuing to different destinations in France and the north of France, or even until Paris. Something a little bit specific is the catalog between Rotterdam and Antwerp. Why specific? Is that it's because we, Corridor North Sea-Mediterranean, we take part at the TTR pilot Rotterdam-Antwerp, and we publish some rolling planning. So this is, you can see them in blue here. These capacities for 2023 are not yet available. They will be available 4 months before running time. But there is a similar catalog. You may ask it to me for 2022, and this catalog is open for any order right now. And rolling planning is a very flexible way to order capacity. You can order just for 1 day, for 1 week, if you have a diversion because of infrastructure work somewhere, if you have some on-the-spot traffic. And well, here you can find some ready-to-use international capacities just right there. Here is another map of the corridor, another list of connection. If you click here, you've got all the capacities, let's say, for instance, between Belgium and Switzerland via the artère nord-est of SNCF Réseau. And on the third page, a reminder, if you need some more information about the PAP ID, all the explanation is here, all the parameters are also available here, and the list of abbreviation we have spoken about at the very beginning of the presentation. Now I'm looking for another document. I will be with you in just a moment. Yes, document is coming. Well, here a few figures about the corridor. You can see an increase of publication. These are train kilometers. We have published about 27 million train kilometers for 2023. It has mainly to do with the rules of capacity needs announcement on SNCF Réseau that are a little bit more open than last year. This has enabled us to publish more kilometers. And here is an overview that it's also split per IM. And this is a schematic view of the capacities we have. We have a catalog of 257 PAPs that are only published by RFC2, plus 31 rolling planning PAPs between Antwerp and Rotterdam, connecting to Sweden and Germany via Roosendaal and Esten. We have 17 capacities published together with RFC North Sea-Baltic, 20 capacities published together with RFC Rhine-Alpine via Basel to Italy. We have 11 capacities published together with RFC Mediterranean via Modane to Italy also. About 49 capacities published to the south of France, to the Mediterranean side of Spain, some of them coming from Mannheim, Saarbrücken via Forbach. So a multi-corridor together with RFC Mediterranean and Atlantic, and 6 capacities on the Atlantic side together with Corridor Atlantic to Bayonne, to Hendaye or other destinations. Okay, that's it for my presentation. As requested by Laurent and other customers, we will send everything after about today or tomorrow after the presentations. If you need some help for some specific features or looking for capacity or difficulties in PCS, of course, there is the RNE PCS support, but we are also ready to help you, or we can organize a specific meeting with the experts, in my case of Infrabel or SNCF Réseau for the first dossiers. Please do not hesitate. I'm sure you know how to reach me. That's it for the moment from my side. Felix, are you still with us?
Yes, sorry, I had a short phone call if you asked something to me.
You think you could present the specific PCS dossier you have prepared? We have prepared?
Yeah, okay.
In PCS test 1.
I don't have it ready. Give me 2 minutes.
No, don't worry. I will.
No, don't worry. It will be a minute.
Take your time. If it takes 1 or 2 minutes, it's not we are not in a rush today.
Yeah. And Jean, maybe if you want, I can present the calendar for timetable 2022.
Oh, it's a good idea. Yes, let's do that.
Yeah. Do you see it?
You start, Stefan?
Oh, I see the PCS. Otherwise,
yes,
we can present the calendar after the PCS presentation.
Whatever, I already take it. Okay, then I start. Sorry, Stefan.
No. It was just for to have no too long.
I was faster than I thought.
Please, Felix.
Okay. We didn't make a presentation of a live PCS dossier creation because this was already done in the PCS training sessions. But what we have done is to create one in PCS test 1, and we can show you already created, but to let you know how it will look like after the creation and in particularly in the pre-booking phase. No? This would be the basic data, as you already should know after the trainings, with the dossier name, international train number, timetable period, train type, etc. Okay, and with the territories, which is the important part, that has been created during the dossier creation. So in this case, it would be a cargo with ARIF, cap train with ARIF. Probably we will see, I'm sure, because this will be the railway undertaking crossing the border. So this is why cap train will be paired with ARIF, also with RESO, and at the end with DevNets. Okay. Here intercontrol is not the purpose of today's presentation, but you can see the first phase open in which only the leading RU has access to the dossier. Then when they release the harmonization, the other RUs that have been selected has the rights to start editing the dossier and putting the data or checking what the leading RU did. Then all in this moment, when everything is ready before the 11th of April, as we said, all the RUs should set their lights to green, and then the dossier will go automatically or manually. That's it's up to you. We'll go to the PAP request phase. And then immediately, this is not a phase, this is a deadline. This will go into pre-booking, in which the corridor OSS will check the request and will pre-book the PAP if there is no conflict, or will apply the conflict resolution process if there is conflict between different dossiers. And then, just very briefly, path elaboration is the IMs constructing the detailed path and checking if everything is fine in the PAP. Draft offer, RUs make the observations to the corridor OSS and also to the IMs. Corridor OSS will check that the observations are taken care. Then the IMs resolve any problems related in the observations, and again, always setting the green lights at the right moments. When everything is ready, the dossier goes to the final offer, and then if this is accepted by all RUs, this will go to the active timetable, which is the objective phase for being ready. This should be at the end of August, more or less. Okay. Then comments, for any comment, and also for the observations. This is a place in which the RUs will place the observations in the corresponding phase. Okay, this is the main purpose, the applicant timetable of a multi-corridor PAP, coordinated by the 3 corridors, in this case 6, 2, and 4. And okay, this is what initially during the presentation of the Atlantic Corridor OSS I mentioned the cross-border, but this is also in order to check how a PAP ID, how a multi-corridor PAP will be shown in a PCS dossier in a request. Okay, corridors 6 to 4 from Grisen. This is one of the problems, as Jan mentioned at the beginning. This year, as is the first year, we have some repeated acronyms. So this is from Granollers to Mannheim. Okay. The PAP will start in Granollers to the border station in Ariz, Portbou in Spain, in this case requested by TACLAR. The next territory, there is an interchange, so in Portbou, so in this case we use Captrain Italia, even if it's not makes much sense. As an example, Captrain Italia would take the train in Portbou, and of course, as I said, they need to request capacity to Ariz because they are running partially in a very short stretch, but running in the Spanish network, no in a deep network, until the border state with France. Then the next territory will be from the same point, Ferber Frontier, as you see. Here, as these are PAPs, even if this is arrival and this is departure, this is showing that it's a run-through in the border. Then there is a small stop, in this case in Cervere Bad Voyagers, and then here until this moment, even if we have 3 territories, the PAP is belonging to corridor 6, okay, from Granollers to Avignon. Then in Avignon is entering into corridor 2 from Avignon to Woipi, and then in this case there is no RU change in this example. So in Woipi you are entering, the RU is entering into RFC 4. Then in RFC 4, but in France. So from Woipi to Forbach, which is the French border station with Germany, is belonging to RFC 4, and then is the last territory between Captrain Italia and the Venets, from Forbach to the final destination inside Germany, which is Mannheim. Okay, here nothing new. We only use 1 day for example. You can see the running days, starting in day 3. It's a bit slow, so I'm not going to go through all of them. At the end, when they are leaving Forbach towards Mannheim, it will be Friday.
Felix, we have got a question from Laurent.
Okay.
Yes, hello Felix.
Hello.
Could you go back on the precedent screen with the territories, please?
I think this is it. Are you seeing, do you want this one?
Yes, this one. Could you show me where you see the number of the corridor, please?
Well, I don't think we can see it, okay? It is because we know the geography, but it should be transparent for you, okay?
Okay.
It's just maybe for your information, but when you are seeing in the search function of the PAPs, you will see all section, and in fact, it's transparent for you. But maybe it's important at this moment to remind that just in case, in order to be sure that we cover all the offer, it's good to, in the PAP search, include all the corridors that you know that you are running, okay? Corridor, in this case, 2, 4, and 6. Because maybe I have detected in a very few cases, but particularly I have detected that some small sections from the Atlantic corridor, for example, may not appear if you are not put in the Atlantic corridor. Maybe let me, as we have time, maybe let me show what I want to explain to you. Normally, as we are making harmonized offers, we try to do one thing, okay, which is if you select, for example, Mediterranean corridor only, you should see also the Atlantic and North Sea Mediterranean offer with multi-corridor PAPs in Mediterranean corridors. But personally, I have detected one mistake, which will be solved next year for sure, and you might miss some small section of the Atlantic corridor that should appear. So, in order to make sure, if you know that you are looking for a multi-corridor PAP, it's better that you put all the 3 corridors to make sure that you are not missing anything, okay?
Okay.
Then you filter this in order with the PAP ID, for example, in order to avoid so many. And then, for example, if for any reason I forgot to make visible for Mediterranean corridor this small section, which can be the case, I'm not sure, if you don't put here Atlantic, you won't see it. So this will be improved, of course, next year, because it was, in some cases, only in a few cases it happened to me, you may not see some small section. So just to make sure, place here all the 3 corridors you are interested and the PAP ID with the catalogs published in the websites, and it will be easier to not miss anything. Okay, so here again, as answer to your question, this should be transparent for you. Well, in this case, it's all Atlantic corridor, but these PAP sections doesn't show if it's in a corridor or in another. It doesn't really matter. Okay, you can check in the catalog published in the websites. So you can see those, but in PCS it's not necessary, and it's transparent for you.
Okay, understood.
Okay,
thanks a lot.
Thanks to you. Okay, then don't wasting more time. This was presented better than me for sure by RNE yesterday and in the past days. These are the path variants in which detect if there is any inconsistency, also in the territories, the calendar path variant by path variant. This was a simple case for a multi-corridor example, so there is only one variant for all the territories. Then corridor SS timetable, it will be used if there is any necessity to adapt some applicant's request in order to make it mainly to correct a small minor possible mistakes and make it more simple for the IMs. And then the IM timetable is what you will check at the draft offer with the offer of the IM. And then, okay, there are more details, links. The link section is important for Atlantic corridor and also Mediterranean corridors, because sometimes it's not possible to make the complete request from, for example, from Spain to Germany for some reasons. They are used doesn't create total dossiers, global dossiers. For at least in those cases, please insert one reference to another dossiers in order to make it to can find the traceability between the linked dossiers. Okay, those traffics which has 2 dossiers but only one traffic, linking function is an interesting one. And I don't know if my colleagues would like to add something to the dossier presentation, or if there is any other question from your side.
Well, Felix, thank you for the presentation. From my side, it is just perfect.
Me too. No addition for my part.
Okay, then I leave the floor to Jan to continue the meeting.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Felix. I think That's all that we wanted to present today. So now feel free to ask your question, or you have something, Stefan, you wanted to show the calendar.
Yes, quickly, maybe we can present the calendar.
That's a good idea, yes.
Yes, you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So the next step, so it's the 11th of April, who will be the last day to request the PAPs in PCS, for sure. Between the 12th of April until the 4th of July, it will be the construction of the timetable. The 25th of April, it will be the phase, the 2 weeks during this period, the COSS will see all the requests, and after checking, they put the request in pre-booking phase. After in June, it will be the RNE technical meeting. After the draft will be the 4th of July, with the first presentation for the draft. After this 4th of July, you will have 4 weeks to make your observation in PCS. So it will be between the 5th of July until the 5th of August. And the 22nd of August will be the deadline for the final answer to the customer. So this is for the timetable 2023, and yes, we have the deadline of 15th of August for the wish list for timetable 2024, except in France, because in France it's earlier. In France it will be on 15th of June, but for all the other country in Europe, it will be the 15th of August. And it's important for us to have your wish list, because we need it to present the best offer according your wish. And after we will be on the we have no really let pass request on our corridor. And yes, one thing, what important thing is for the reserve capacity. For sure, for this timetable 2022 represent very few reserve capacity, because we have a few possibility from the IM. And for the next, for the timetable 2023, we try to increase and improve the level. And it's important also in your wish list, maybe sometimes to have more wish, because after we can use the wish, then you will not request to use it in the reserve capacity. So this is the calendar for the next timetable. If you have some question, please don't hesitate, and we will send to you also the calendar for this timetable. Any question? No. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Stefan. And if nothing else is to be explained, so I think that it's time to thank all the participants for being there. Thank you for those who have asked some questions. You have, as said, you know how to reach us, and we wish you a successful opening of your PCS dossiers.